absolutely. What's up, guys? It's Zach with Team Wicked, and who are we here with?
Ashik and Najib.
And this past weekend, you guys got what?
I got fifth. We got first.
Alright, you guys played the same deck, but like a couple card differences, right?
Yeah, just about. Just 2 or 3 cards.
Do you remember your end results? Like your...
I finished 702. So I had 2 draws, and one of my draws was with him. The other draw was round 8. It was kind of unfortunate. So I feel like it was a bad judge ruling, which resulted in me not being able to play game 3, and it just ended in a draw. And he finished. What's your record? 801. 801. Yeah.
Do you remember what you drew against besides him?
It was Mermill.
Mermill. Oh wow. What was you?
Pretty wild.
What was the? He was the only draw.
Yeah, he was my only draw.
Oh wow. All right. All right. So let's see this deck. Let's see the spice.
Most of it's pretty standard. Played 3 Ray, of course. 3 Ash. We actually played 5 hand traps. This and 2 impermanents.
Gotcha. Okay.
It didn't feel like more was necessary.
Gotcha.
Just kind of clogs the deck.
Gotcha.
You really you can play through just about any board, so you don't. It's not so important to interrupt your opponent's plays during their turn as it is to just see your combo pieces and break boards.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's it for monsters, and for spells we played 3 field spell. We opted not to play Demise. Just in testing, we didn't really like it. Rather than getting arbitrary draws off Demise, we felt it was just better to
focus on Sky Striker stuff.
Just get your special summons and get more concise cards out of your special summons.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, 3 field spell, and we actually played, I guess, 5 of this because we played terraforming and we played 1 set rotation.
God card.
You really just need to see this card now.
Yeah.
Like if you don't play, you just lose. Like
right. And that just lets you dig deeper into your deck and then see right?
Yeah,
just
absolutely,
so you can
absolutely. And then the second target for this was Mystic Mind. I know players started cutting this, but I still like the card. There's certain situations where like game 1 you just like can't win, like against Thunders. Like the matchup's just absolutely ridiculous. But this makes it like so this is a non-searching card, so it doesn't. It automatically just sets it, so you don't need to search. So it plays around Colossus. And just like other decks, like you kind of just need it. Like Pendulum, if you can bait out their negates, like going second, and you just drop this Mystic Mind, and you just, you can.
Yeah, we're taking shots, but it's alright. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. It won't happen again. It's all good.
I like this card.
Yeah, it's still a really good card.
So 3 engage, of course. One of those we have multi-roll, afterburners, jamming waves. Hercules base, 1 Widow Anchor, drones, booster, 2 of this. I feel like it's
a lot more common now.
Yeah, absolutely. So you really need to fall back on your link monsters in your extra deck now, and to do that you need to play this card. Just special summon your opponent's monsters, and you try to make like in grind games you try to end on like Ningrisu or Topologic Bomber. But yeah, you need other methods of removal now that Widow Anchor's at 1, and you kind of fall back on your extra deck now for that purpose. So that's it for the striker spells. The non-striker spells, we play Foolish Goods, Rhoda, 2 Cosmic.
Cosmic just for like the Orcus matchup and the mirror.
Yeah. I was conflicted between this and MST, but I think MST is fine, honestly. And I think both of them are better than Twisters, but just Cosmic, I felt more comfortable with Cosmic.
Gotcha.
And for the traps, which are kind of like the MVPs of the deck, 2 Compulse. This was good, but not as good as Lost Wind. Lost Wind was just absolutely ridiculous.
Insane.
Just the recursion with this card, just being able to use it twice. Is,
it almost
absolutely
replaces
insane.
the Widow Anchors in a sense.
Yeah. There's so many cases where it's just better than Widow Anchor. Because Widow Anchor, you need, like, I blind first, so Widow Anchor, a lot of times if you go first, it's not live. Like you might not get 3 spells engraved, so it's just not live. It's just Forbidden Chalice in essence. But this card, this card is literally just permanent, just a permanent negate, and you can reuse it again. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like if you just see one of these against Thunder, which is the hardest matchup. It's
Makes it a lot easier. Gotcha.
so 2 of that, 2 impermanents.
Any reason for not playing 3?
I really just felt like there are better cards to play, and in testing it wasn't that impactful. Like I said, you can play through your opponent's boards if you see your combo pieces. Like a lot of my best hands are just where you don't see any hand traps. Whereas like hands where you see 2 impermanents just aren't that great, because you really want to just fill your grave with spell cards and just play, pop off. And then the last card before that I played 3 of this. This is mandatory. I think everybody agrees this is you got to play this at 3. It beats Thunder, Salad, Orcus, Pendulum. It's just ridiculous. And then the last card, and this was the only discrepancy between my deck and my brother's. I played 1 Trap Trick, and as you can see, we had 3 targets for trap. Yeah, we could get Compulse, this, or Lost Wind.
Yeah.
Most often it was Lost Wind, but so it's pretty much any of these, which was I thought was ridiculous. And I play more in my side deck, but that's what I decided main. And he actually decided to play.
Instead I opted for Solemn Strike.
So you played the 1 strike instead of the 1 trap trick.
Yeah, so I actually hadn't had too much testing with Trap Trick, so I decided to go with something I knew a bit more about, Strike. I like it more for the mirror match. It generally can seal a deal a lot of the time, like in the grind game, if you like manage to strike or summon, or against like other decks like Salad, Thunder. It can kind of change the tempo of the game a good bit.
Okay. All right.
So that's it for main deck. Extra deck. 3 Shizuku, 1 Kagari, 2 Kaina. I know a lot of people say you play 1, but honestly, you just have so much space in your extra deck. I think 2 is fine. 1 is, I don't know. I was really just pressing myself when I was playing 1. There's a lot of grind games where you play against like bigger decks, like Salad or like Orcus, for example, where you really just need the second one. It's kind of just a nice blank card to go into. Also, if you like Area 0 target raid, you don't want to burn any of your other monsters. It's like you gain the 100, and you're not really losing much. So I think 2 is fine. 3 Hayate.
This wasn't the same for both you guys' lists, right?
Yeah, so I actually opted just for 2 Hayate. So in testing, I generally didn't really need more than 2. Late game, you can generally recycle it with Hercules base or whatnot. So instead, I opted for Barricade Board Blocker. So really, it was kind of between this or running Boral Sword. Boral Sword's nice to have, but this card can get you out of some sticky situations that come up during grind states. Like, let's say your opponent Dingirisu's away your multi-roll, or they destroy it or something. You can just add it back, and sometimes you can end on it as well, just to protect some of your back row.
Okay.
So the one Dingirisu, like I said, this is like I probably made this like. It's like it almost feels like half my games, like where like any game where there's any sort of grind, like this is your first go-to card. Like it outs like literally outs anything.
Yeah.
It's like BLS Link, Avermax, like whatever it may be. This card's just broken. Phoenix, self-explanatory. 2 Super Poly targets because I played Super Poly. Hida, and then Topologic Bomber. I really like this card. There are some games where like you would equip Hercules base to this card and you just do like 6,000 damage. Otherwise, like Striker takes like forever to kill unless your opponent like puts monsters on the field, and like with Widow Anchor at 1 now, it really does take forever to kill them. So this makes it a little bit easier, I guess, to burn for some damage. But yeah, I really like this card.
Apply pressure and stuff like that.
You get the draw too if you attack with like Hercules base equipped. It's just insane.
Yeah.
But I really like that card.
And everything else was the same. The only difference was the Hayate and the extra deck, right? Hayate and Barricade Blocker. Okay.
And then we played the same side deck. 2DD Crow. I wasn't gonna play this, but then my friend Jafar, he convinced me to play this last minute. I really like it. So I played that, and I also played Bell. Bell actually never went in. I was just never comfortable enough to put it in against like Orchist or Salad.
Right.
The thing about Bell is like you use it during very specific moments in the game. Like you do it on like Will, or I guess if you're comfortable, you can do it before they activate Will, like maybe during like a Foxy effect or something. But it doesn't really get rid of the problem because they can do it again next turn. Same thing with Orchis. Like you literally you have to wait for them to pop off, and then you wait for them to use Skeleton effect, and then you can do it. Whereas this card, you have so much flexibility to use it at any point in the game. So I think overall that just makes this a better card.
So moving forward, would you keep the Bell or would you cut it for
I'd probably cut it for third crow. Yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
2 Duster. Before I put the Duster out there, I actually played 2 Trap Tricks, 2 more Trap Tricks. So for 3 Trap Tricks total, 2 Dusters. Yeah, I think this is self-explanatory. It's more back row removal against those heavy floodgate decks.
Right.
But yeah, this was fine. 2 Ogre for Pendulum, for the Mirror, and
Why are you still alive, dude?
what else was that? It? Oh, a Draco, I guess. That's about it. Yeah, I didn't play any Draco. I played like 1 Mirror. I put it in. I'm not sure if I saw it. Also, this is really nice. Like going into game 3, if you're trying to use Kaina. This is like one of those cards that like if you see like this and Field Spell, you can just activate Field Spell, use effect, chain this, and then like add Field Spell back with Kagari, make Kaina, and then activate Field Spell, and you just gain 100 and
time.
yeah.
It also does cover like a good number of road matchups. Like I did side in against Infernoid. You can hit their Void Banishment. When he was going for the whole Crusadia OTK, you can just over the Infernoid that tributes the Crusadia, just prevents a lot of damage. Stuff like that.
But you got a key.
2 Super Polys. These never went in. I just didn't play against. I actually played against Zero Thunder, which is pretty crazy.
Why do you have a key?
But I still think it's kind of necessary. You need it for Thunder and Pendulum.
Breakboards.
Yeah, Thunder and Pendulum are pretty nutty. 2 Nibiru. I know a lot of Striker players aren't playing this, but I think like in my case, I play like 5 instances of the Field Spell with the Terraforming and Set Rotation, and then the multi-roll. So honestly, I
Just
think
like
this.
remove it off the field.
Yeah. It's really not that hard to get rid of, and like considering the impact against certain decks like Orchist and Salad, I think you absolutely play it. And there's even like cool interactions like which I didn't know, like you can actually lost win the token. So like if they go to like attack with the token, if you give them like a really big token because you tribute like 5 monster, you can actually lost win the token because it doesn't need to have an effect. Because it reads the monster has its effects negated, it doesn't need to have an effect, and you also have the attack, and then you can also just get rid of it with Compel. So there's like literally like so many ways to get rid of the Nibiru.
And the token.
Yes,
Gotcha. Okay.
and it's like it's literally the best hand trap if you can play it. But yeah, it's 2 Nibiru. 2 Nibiru, and I loved it. I'm probably gonna play. I'm definitely gonna play it going forward. And the last card was so if you can tell by now, we play a lot of 2-ofs.
Right.
And we're thinking about what the last 2 cards should be. If it should be like a third, another Crow, or like another Nibiru. But we figured we wanted to play something just like super flexible. You can put in against any deck, and we decided to go with Pankratops.
Yeah, just all around generic.
Yeah, it's just
Anything, any kind of situation.
Because going first, you're not too worried. You play all the traps. You should see like 1 good trap and try to end with 2 engage in hand. So it's really, you're mainly setting for going second, and like Pankratops is all around. Just it covers every matchup, just about.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it.
All right, guys. Was there any changes besides the Bell to a Crow you'd make in the deck?
That's probably about it.
Probably it.
Yeah, we'll see going forward. Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate it. Thanks for the deck profile. Congratulations on getting 5th in first. And this is Zach with Team Wicked, and I'm out.